What is going on, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first edition, the first episode of Moonshots and Meatballs, your weekly fix for MLB and baseball. I am so excited to start this podcast here. I am Josh Scharf here with, I'll let him introduce himself.
I'm Andrew Ault. Go Cubs.
So, yeah, we're going to be here giving you all your weekly baseball and MLB fix. So to start off, let's get right into it. I think the biggest thing that happened this week in baseball, I mean, you got the Cubs hat on, was just the shock of, I mean, I was rooting for it, of course, as a Mets fan, but to see the Cubs take 2 out of 3 from the
defending
Braves,
champs, the defending champs.
When they were on a 14-game win streak, they were rolling through these crappy teams. I mean, they haven't played, I think it was 27 games, their last 27 games or something. They haven't played a team above 500 when they played them, which is ridiculous. Like 20 plus games. Ridiculous.
The Cubs count as one of those teams.
Exactly. And the fact that like they were rolling, the Cubs had stunk with a capital S, and just to see the fortunes turn. And I think after the first game, it was kind of like, hey, the emotions were high for the Cubs, the Braves were low, and that's what led to the second game. And then, Cubs are like, hey, we got to salvage one here. But
the first game was a bit of a shock, had our guys out there. Morel came up clutch in the 8th with a big hit. He's really came on strong here lately. I think since he came up, I know his first 12 games, he had an on-base streak, broke Cubs rookie record. He's been hot. Him and Contreras really been the heartbeat of that offense, or if you can even call it an offense right now. But yeah, took the first one. First one felt good. Then we rolled into the second one, and
I mean, it was great. I'm just I know Charlie Morton hasn't had a great year, so he was spectacular for the Braves. That's not something I like to see, but as a Mets fan, but this dude, he's not like Verlander, but he continues, even though he's getting those upper ages, up to 40, close to it. He still can put up some gems, and 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 9 Ks.
I mean, you see it a lot with the old pitchers. They have that curveball. They age like fine wine.
Verlander's got it too. I mean,
Wainwright
still got it. It's just something about getting that just over time, just developing and just the understanding the grip and knowing that, hey, I'm not gonna be able to blow guys away with my fastball all the time. It's gonna lose a mile an hour or two. But now you got to worry about what's coming in the dirt. Because it's going to look like it's going to be a fastball, but that's ended at your knees.
Comes in
below the knees.
Throwing chairs.
Exactly. But the Cubs got great. That's been the biggest problem for the Cubs is pitching. I mean, hitting hasn't been great either. But to get six innings without a run from Thompson was great. I mean, he's probably been your best pitcher.
Thompson's had a good year.
He's been your best pitcher, starting pitcher, 3.27 ERA on the year. I mean, to get no earned runs, an inning from Gibbons, an inning from Martin. Robinson's been he's been fantastic as your closer, but he's been the only one in your bullpen. It's basically, you're looking like the Phillies bullpen with a good arm. Good arm. It's been terrible.
He's really shining right now. Hopefully he pulls that Kimbrel move and ends up getting us a nice piece that we can get at the deadline, because there's
Definitely.
no way
we'll get into what I think the Cubs should do and what you think the Cubs will do. But it was cool to, I mean, the small ball being played. I mean, VR switch hitter, former Met, gets himself on base with a walk. He gets to second on a productive out. That's the word I was looking for. Productive out. He steals third, and then a sac fly home. That's just small ball VR working to get himself into scoring position, and his teammates just getting, because they're not the team that's going to be able to hit home runs all the time, and they're not getting all these outs. So just to get small ball like that is how the Cubs are going to have to win games.
That's how they've manufactured a lot of runs this year. I mean, if you look at the home run leaders, I think it's Wisdom and Contreras both have 12. And, of course, best catcher in the league leading the team in home runs. But it really falls off after that. But you got a lot of guys who hit for good average. Nico Horner's been a nice surprise. And Ian Happ's really had a sneaky, really good year. Could get a big contract this winter. But, it's good to see the little signs of hope.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, early in the year, you guys were not bad, but I think most people knew it wasn't going to be sustained. Suzuki, very good the first 2-3 weeks of the year, had a very good April, but
falling off. He's hurt right now.
You're good. Once pitchers, it's just like rookies when they get off to a hot start and then they go to their sophomore slump. Once pitchers start to recognize what you like, what you can't hit, if you can't hit top cheese, well, guess what? They're throwing top cheese. If you buckle on the slider away, they're going to throw you the slider away.
That's all you're going to see.
Once they finally understand how to pitch to you, it's another game. It's a different level. It's just a different understanding. And I think Suzuki is going through those pains. I think he can bounce back, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think he's learning this is the best pitchers in the world, and this is what you're going to have to face.
Agreed. I still have hope for Suzuki. Say has shown he's got all the tools. He's got great discipline. I think he'll iron out the kinks, and I think we're going to see good Suzuki here soon.
On the Brave side, I mean, you can't ask for much. 14 games. I mean, yes, you'll lose a series to the Cubs, but a 14-game win streak. You were 10 plus out at the time of this, and in 2 weeks, you're now 5 games out, which is still crazy that there's 5 games out after a 14-game win streak.
My question to you about the Braves, as a Mets fan, are you scared? Do you have any fear in your heart about the Braves coming in and taking that division?
Yes and no. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think you are expecting guys like Austin Riley to have a good year. Ozzie Albies, even though he just got hurt and hasn't been that great, you were expecting him. Darno always hits. He's never the best fielder, but they can hit. Getting Olsen, I mean, he's been fantastic.
Olsen's been great.
And getting Acuna back from injury, of course, a top 5 player in the league. It's always going to help. What I didn't expect, though, is a guy like Dansby Swanson to have the year that he is having. He's always been a bit of an he's always been kind of that 7-8 guy on this lineup that kind of wasn't always living up to expectations, but was a solid enough piece to be where he was in the lineup. That has changed this year completely, especially with Alsby's getting hurt. He's in 293, 361 on base, 466 slug, and an 827 OPS. I mean, let's take a look at his numbers career wise. It's got to be his best year career wise he's had. All right, so it's easily his best career year. I mean, he already has the most WAR right now than any other season, and we're not even halfway through the year. The only other year that compares is the 60-game split, the 60-game season. He had 2.6 WAR, hit for 272, 335, 464 with an OPS of 807. And his rookie year, 38 games, he had a decent start. But, I mean, besides this, his best year was last year, and he hit 248, 311, 449 for 760. This changes the dynamic of this team because now the back end of guys, like a Darno's your 6 or 7, and he has pop. Yeah. He might not be not be the best offensive guy, but he has pop. Or you could go to Contreras, William, who's been a dog this year.
He's hitting.
So Dansby has been ridiculously changing this lineup, and I definitely think the Braves are a good enough team, and they're going to make the playoffs. But as a Mets fan, I think if we just take care of our business, we're going to be fine. I just have that much trust in this team. But
I don't really see a scenario where Atlanta leapfrogs the Mets in the division. I think their best bet's having to go for that wild card.
Exactly. And I think they're going to get it. I think at least one of them, they're playing so well right now. And to see them fall off again, I just don't think. I think they're just on a kind of a season winning or what's the hangover, the championship hangover. I think it was clear not having Acuna to start the year, even though they went on the run, missing your best player and losing Freddie Freeman. I know you got Olsen. He was red hot, but he's like that locker room guy. I feel like he would have been able to get to the guys, and not having him, I think, might not have hurt off on the field, but definitely hurt off the field, not seeing the results in the wins and loss column. But the question I have with this team, the Braves, I mean, is more of the pitching side. I mean, you're getting great pitch. Max Fried has been phenomenal.
Max Fried's a legitimate ace.
I was never really a believer. And then last year he proved me wrong, and he continues to prove me wrong. Kyle Wright's been fantastic. 2.94 ERA, WAR at 2.2, WHIP of 1.1, Ks per nine at 9.9. My question is the back end of that rotation. Ian Anderson has never been, he was first round pick, never been that kind of guy. But if he could just be a nice 4-5, he could be good. Charlie Morton, you saw the game, like we said, against the Cubs, but can he continue to have those performances in big games? He's not going to always pitch gems, but it's in the big games. Can he have shine in the biggest moment?
I think the key really lies in a guy like Spencer Strider. They're starting to give him a few opportunities starting in the back end of that rotation. He's kind of shined the past few games. And if he can step up and be a solid number 3, number 4 for them in that rotation, they're easily in the playoffs.
I think
they're dangerous once they get there.
Oh, definitely. I think the biggest X factor for them, I don't know when he's coming back, but if he does, Mike Soroka. He changes everything, because then you have 3 studs, and then it's Strider, Morton, and Anderson in the back end. You might not even have to play. You play one of them. All the others can play long relief in the playoffs, and it's just eat some innings. And then we could throw it to another guy. So then you have 3 studs. So I think that completely changed. If Soroka can come back and pitch like a 3.5 ERA, even just be the 3 in the rotation. We've seen Soroka be a Cy Young caliber pitcher. Yeah. So I think that would change dramatically the Braves.
I agree. I think they're definitely, if they get that pitching picked up in the back of the rotation, they're a threat once they get in, because they can get hot. It's just a matter of, can they get hot?
We saw it last year.
Yeah. And these past 14, 16 games, until they ran into the buzzsaw of the Cubs.
The buzzsaw of the Cubs. Love it. One of the biggest surprises, though, of this year, for me, they get doubted every year, this team, and they just somehow find a way with hitting you don't think is going to be irrelevant, but it's there, and the pitching is always there. They develop pitching better than anybody, and that's like the Cleveland Guardians now. Yeah, that name still. Should have picked something way better.
Kind of like the logo. I kind of mess with it.
But the Guardians, man, right now sitting at a record of 34-28, 6 games above 500, fighting for a wild card spot right now. Currently, they would not be in a wild. They're the next team out from a wild card, because you got the 3 AL East teams that all have wild cards right now. But I didn't know where they were going to get their offense besides Jose Ramirez. And I knew how good Jose Ramirez was.
Only getting it from Jose Ramirez. They're just getting spot pickups where they need it.
Jose, it's crazy how everybody knows how good he is, but he just doesn't get enough love. He needs more.
He's legitimately a top 5 hitter in the league.
Possibly. I think you got Trout, Soto. Soto's having a bad year, but that Nats team, I'm not going to doubt Soto. I've seen what Soto can do. That dude still scares me half to death when he comes up. I'm like, just walk him. So Trout's, and I know he went on that little stint, Trout, but he's back.
Yeah, definitely.
So Trout, Soto, Acuna, Tatis when healthy, maybe.
But he's not.
Exactly. So then you probably like a Ramirez and what? A Judge? Those are your top 5 hitters. Or Mookie?
Mookie kind of in a slump right now.
I know. Well, he's hurt. He went on the IL today or yesterday for 10 days. So we'll see. They just traded. They made Dodgers made a trade for infield from or outfielder from the Tigers for cash considerations.
I didn't even see that.
Let me see if I can pull that up in a bit. But he's in that conversation. I feel like he's not talked about enough.
No, he's got a 1.039 OPS right now. Still got over 1,000 OPS.
3.4 WAR already. He could end with like 8 WAR for the year, and I wouldn't be surprised.
He's pretty much doubling up every other Indian in all the hitting categories right now.
It's ridiculous. Like he's it's absolutely. And I think the only other one that's been kind of solid. They've had a couple. Josh Naylor, has been pretty solid. Out in right field for them. 277 gives you some pop a bit. 7 home runs from him. Not the and he's been hitting for a bit of average, which you wouldn't think. But I think the biggest one has been Andres Jimenez, the guy you got, the biggest piece you got for the Lindor trade. You got Rosario, who's established kind of veteran, who's kind of been disappointing, but he's been okay there in Cleveland, but not. He has a 654 OPS. Again, not the greatest defensively. He doesn't walk. That's his problem. He does not.
Yeah. Jimenez right now has a 42 strikeouts to 9 walks, but he still has a 342 OBP.
Exactly. Jimenez gets on. Jimenez is just a hit. He just puts the ball to the bat. He's not going to give you any power. Only has
7 bombs. Second on the team.
Yes, 7 bombs. That's actually quite surprising. Quite surprising. 3 trip. I mean, he's fast. He's got 500 slugging, actually. 352, 8. This is a guy you weren't expecting the power, but you were expecting the bat. This was the guy you got for Lindor. A guy who could be just a very fast guy, puts the ball in play. You weren't expecting the power, but people grow into their body. And I think he is definitely the shortstop of the future for me. Or if you wanted to play him at second base, you could play him at second base. But you got 2 infielders for the future if you're Cleveland. If you could sell the team, I think, did they sell the team? Josh Blitz, somebody in baseball got the team sold, I believe, recently, or minority stake, and then it might turn into a majority. But if Cleveland can get a good owner that will invest in their team, decent amount. I mean, if you just get a couple big I mean, they've always been able to develop prospects and pitch. Yeah. Like, their pitching is always fantastic.
The pitching will be there.
I mean, Shane Bieber is, since he's been hurt and stuff like that, but he's still a top elite pitcher in this league. Has a 3 ERA. His Ks per 9 at 9% is not where you'd want it to be, but in the end, he's getting results.
Tristan McWinsey.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. 2.96 ERA. He's been solid. He was supposed to be a solid piece. The only one that hasn't been great is Plesac. And you might trade Plesac because, the Cleveland always sells at the deadline. Yeah. But Cal Quantrill hasn't been bad as a back-end rotation guy. Even a guy like Eli Morgan, who's only been in 1 game, really. 33 innings pitched, been solid. They get good bullpen. They have good bullpen guys. Kwase, Stephan, Shaw. They have good guys and just always got arms. If they could get some bats.
They just need another scary bat. That's it. And that could be a playoff team.
Easily. Because they won't get far in the playoffs, but they're a playoff team, and then you just build. You just put a little money in this Cleveland team. Like, get them a power outfield. Like, you got Naylor, just get them a strong out. Imagine if they got Judge.
He's coming to Chicago, man.
Oh yeah. Definitely. But Cleveland is always a team that, because every year they do this. They sell, you write them off, and you're like, they got good pitching, but where are they going to get the hitting? And it's like, oh yeah, well, Jose Ramirez can carry a team to at least 400 or 450 team record average. It's ridiculous how
same old with the Guardians.
Yeah, and then they're going to get 1 or 2 guys to step up, and that's what they're doing. They're not probably going to – will they make the playoffs? Probably not, because they'll probably sell and they'll fold a bit. But they're always in the mix. They are always in the mix. And people always – I counted them out again this year, and shame on me. I don't
think it's a bad take to count them out. I don't think they're real. But
yeah, I mean, it's hard to count them as real just because they're going to sell. There's no way they can sustain offense. It's not Jose – just – if there's anybody on base, walk Ramirez. Literally intentional walk him and pitch to anybody else. Anybody else.
But they're building a nice base there. They just locked Ramirez up for a couple years.
And he took a hometown. Did you? He's like, I wanted to take a hometown because if he could have gotten probably double that on the market if he wanted
easily.
And the fact that he stayed in Cleveland is crazy to me that they actually got him to stay. Ridiculous. I mean, good for them, but
most interesting man in baseball, wanting to stay in Cleveland, wears a chain of himself.
I mean, just what a humble guy. What a loyal, humble guy.
I don't know about humble, but he is a loyal guy.
So I did want to get back to you on the Dodgers trade. They acquired Trace Thompson from the Tigers. Has been in AAA has a 1085 OPS.
Oh wow!
So they got, and that was for cash considerations.
You know, the Dodgers will always bring in those guys that are under the radar, kind of utility players, outfielders, can play a little middle infield, and they just pop crazy seasons out of them. I don't know if it's their development or what. Like, you look at guys like Max Muncy and the outfielder. Why am I forgetting his name?
Bellinger's not been great.
Not Bellinger.
Oh, Chris Taylor.
Chris Taylor. Yeah, it's been a good piece. They got him for nothing.
You know what's funny about Taylor? The dude is like whiffs on them. I think has the biggest whiff percentage in all of baseball. Like, dude, but when he hits it, it goes. So if he makes contact, it's like a double or a home run. But otherwise it's a strikeout. It's like no in between. Like, he can't make like small contact, or he can't foul off pitches. He's not fighting off pitches. He's either going for a hit or just plain old whiffing.
Yeah.
But I know you asked about the Mets and how I'm feeling. Well, there's a reason I'm feeling pretty good. That's because Max Scherzer could be coming back next week, and Jacob deGrom around the corner as well. Whew. I mean, they just keep winning series. They keep winning. I mean, we don't have too many sweeps on the year, but the goal is not always. I mean, sweeps are nice. I'm not going to say no to a sweep, but the goal is to win the series. If you were to win every series you played, you're probably the best team in baseball.
Yeah,
and they're the second best team in baseball. They just keep winning series, and their mentality. I say it on my YouTube, on the Scharf Show, on the daily reactions. The pass the baton mentality of, I don't need to be the hero. I don't need to hit the home run. Nimmo literally said it in the post-game conference. I'm just going to do my job. I'm going to pass the baton. And if pitcher makes a mistake, he'll bounce on it. Otherwise, he'll pass the baton. And you saw that today with bases loaded in the first inning. Mark Canha up, 3-2 count, dirty slider. He balks on it, walks the guy in. If he's looking for a home run there, he's going to swing. He's going to miss. And that's the end of the inning. But you got to run there. And one run, well, we only scored one. In the first inning is big. It puts a lot of pressure on the opposing pitcher. It gives
especially with that Mets pitching. They don't need much. David
Peterson has been great this year. He just gives you comments. All right, I got a lead. Now I don't need to focus on, this game's still tied. I need to keep. We got a lead already. I'm cool. It just gives you another sense of relaxation, a sense of calmness. And you see from all the guys. I mean, I believe I heard this stat. Almost, I think 8 guys have an OPS plus above 100 in their.
That's wild.
It's crazy. Like, if you look at the wars, like Lindor 1.7, Alonso 1.9. Marte 1.8, Nimmo 1.8, Jeff McNeil leading the team in WAR. Would you have thought that with the year of the guys? 2.3 WAR from McNeil. Canha 1.2. One of the most Canha. I will say this now, might be the most underrated offseason signing. With you got more people screaming about Marte and Escobar and Scharf. Mark Canha is just a base hit machine.
Yeah. 296 right now. 296. Wow.
What, the team average?
No, that's Canha's average. I'm looking at this Mets lineup right now, and the only people with an OPS plus under 100 are Nido and Escobar. And Escobar's at 93. And everyone else.
Escobar is a very streaky hitter. Like, he was over 20. He had a 20+ hitless streak, but then goes for 3 RBI. Say he's going to give you those days where he's super high. He's also going to be super low. It's just getting him at the right time. But he's one of the best guys in the league. Great locker room presence. And Nido, listen, he's a backup catcher. I'll be honest, McCancer. But his average right now, Nido, where is it? 224. But look at his average if you can find it. When runners are in scoring position, he's hitting like 350.
That's what you need.
Backup catcher. 350. I mean, he literally, if he can only hit if there's a runner in scoring position. Otherwise, it's a fly ball or a strikeout or something. He only hits when runners are in scoring position, which is crazy.
Yeah, this Mets team is really. I personally believe the Mets are still going to find a way to Met, but this team is giving me reason to think that that's not going to happen.
I just think the culture. I think the biggest thing about why we're not going to Met is Buck Showalter.
Yeah.
The past couple years, you've had Mickey Callaway, first year manager, Rojas, first year manager. Now you got a veteran back there, one of the smartest minds in all of baseball.
He'll go to war for his players.
Go to war, and he just knows the game of baseball, knows all of the rules. He's just a little tactician, knows everything, and just knows how to talk to players.
Yeah.
He's a good guy to be around. And he will fight for if you watch, because the Mets are the most hit team. I don't know if you know this. The Mets are the most. They get drilled for some reason, and every time they get drilled, you know what shot's coming next. They just spin the puck, and Buck's got
the red face.
Really face. Like, I want to go beat the crap out of you. And the only thing I wish they did is like throw at somebody's head after we get hit like 3 times in a game, like because we haven't done that yet because it's all accidental. But like, send a message like it's accidental, but learn how to pitch, dude. Like, I'm not saying because we did that once, and then Arenado flipped out. He's like, and the manager was like, could be a career ending. It's like, oh my God, it wasn't gonna hit him. It was just right at your head. Move it, buzzkill. Like
sweet chin music.
Exactly. Like, just let him know you're there. Let him know this doesn't fly. Like, learn how to control your pitches. Like JD Davis got hit on the hand again today. Same hand that cost him almost his entire season last year. And that's probably I think the only thing that can screw us is injuries.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, and I don't know how injuries are going to do well because we have a bit of depth on the batting side. Now you're looking at the pitching. You're getting Scherzer back. And DeGrom is there's not going to be a lot of innings on. He hasn't pitched in over a year. His arm is going to be so loose, no stress on the arm. And you're not going to, and apparently they might tell him, hey, you don't need to go 200 miles an hour all the time. Like, you just go like 98 mile an hour fast.
As long as he's ready for October. That's really
once he gets to October, then kick it in the 12th gear, bro. 102 mile an hour, 95 slider, 93 slider. Then but like, even a 70% DeGrom is probably a top 20 pitcher in baseball, top 15, even probably top 10. Dude's probably gonna, if he were at 70%, he still probably has an under a 3.5 ERA.
Yeah, he'd be the best pitcher on the Cubs, even at 65%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is I think if he were able to get distance, or he came earlier in his career, because he came to the league, I think at like 26, I think he'd have a run for the best pitcher of all time. But I don't think he's going to get there just because, and that's a topic for another conversation or another day. But with his length, he's probably not going to get there. But he has had one of the most dominant, him and Pedro. His peak is nice. Dominant stretches.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely just plain out cold stone killers.
What about the other guys, though? I mean, Taijuan Walker with a 2.88, Carlos Carrasco 8-2. I mean, dude just wins.
Carrasco has had a bounce back. He was one of the biggest X factors because he wasn't great last year, but he had the elbow stuff. He's got cleaned up. He's ready to go. And he's looking like he's always been a class pitcher in Cleveland, and you knew what you could get from him. And he's looked all the part. Bassett has struggled recently, but he's a solid pitcher. Dude goes for the kill. His ERA is at a 4.3, but 4.03, excuse me. But Buck, like the game against Alcantara that we lost this series, he had 6 innings scoreless, and then he put him out for a 7th, gave up 3 earned runs in a third of an inning. So like he's a killer, Bassett. Like you said, Taijuan Walker, he's starting to look like that first half of the year pitcher that we had for the. I was
just about to say, do you think he's going to have that fall off like he did last year? Do you think it's?
I don't know.
Real?
Here's the thing: he's not being as relied upon as he was last year. Last year he was like the guy besides DeGrom. Now, and then in the second half of the year, he had to be the guy because DeGrom got hurt. Him and Stroman. Now he's not. You got Bassett. You got Carrasco. Even though he just got hurt, Tyler McGill, bro, he is like he's not going to be as good as DeGrom, but he's literally a mini DeGrom.
Yeah.
They fixed, they like shortened it and what's the word? Made it simpler. His release a lot simpler. It's no like up, down, left, right. It's up, throw. And with the way how long his arms are, that ball is coming at you. David Peterson, it's been solid. And he might not be on the, when we're fully healthy, he might not be on the roster. I mean, he's sitting at a 3.18 ERA. Trevor Williams, when asked to be a long reliever or start a game, has been pretty solid. So, and you don't need it. Edwin Diaz has been phenomenal. This dude has the highest K rate in baseball. He literally, it's either you get a soft single, maybe he'll give up a home run once in a while, but not really. And then a strikeout. He just strikes everybody out. I mean, he's only given up 3 home runs on the year this year, which is fantastic. So I think the only thing that can undo this Mets team is injuries. And the fact that we just withstood the Braves and the Phillies runs of great baseball. The Phillies are still 10 back around.
The boys are hot. Phillies hot.
I don't. We can get into this next week, but I do not think the Phillies are going to make the play. Phillies are 8.5 back. Braves are 6 back, and we just withstood probably their biggest runs of the year.
Yeah,
realistic. There's no way the Braves knock on wood, but I just don't see the Braves going.
I don't really see it either.
I don't see the Phillies getting another 10-gamer. So
everybody else is pretty much just trying to play catch up in that division.
And they went and they got their streaks at the best time against the Mets when they had their West Coast trip where they had to play the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Angels, and they still couldn't make up as much ground as they probably wanted to.
Yep.
So
great points.
Got a lot of baseball looking forward to this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the first edition of Moonshots and Meatballs. Make sure to tune in next week for episode 2. Was a pleasure. Let's keep this thing going, baby.
Have a good one, guys. Go Cubs as always.
Yep.